Namaste, Jai Bharat. When President Trump got elected this time, Bharat was supporting him, and someone here was speaking in terms of "Aapki baat hum sarkar," etc. Now that's a kind of emotional expressions by average Indians, because we used to speak "Aapki baar 400 par" and "Aapki baar Modi sarkar," etc. We used to say similarly. We said that because people in Bharat wanted Trump to get elected, because we thought have stable kind of understanding about many things, especially terrorism. But the things change. That time we were supporting, but our relations with Russia, that's the point which I would like to talk, is very old and very ancient. If I'm right, my history is not that strong. I'm not a historian otherwise. If I'm right, somewhere in 16th century, for some difficult periods in Russia, many Russians came to Bharat to save themselves, and we took care of them. So that one period is there. But even without that, Bharat and Russia always had very warm, transparent relations. That's what is important. I was just waiting for that word. Transparent relations. Transparency in relations maintains family. See, our society, Bharatiya society, rests upon the integrity of Kutumba, family. And in family, we have the Hindus, the Hindu Dharma, the Hindu culture I'm talking about. We have mandatory transparent relations. Everyone will ask everything to everyone. You can't, one should not hide. You have something to be corrected, they will all correct you. And you are willing to correct it yourself, which is more important. You don't think that I'm beyond, greater than thou or beyond. Such things don't exist in families. Hierarchy is there, and then the elder is an elder in any case. So that kind of transparency must exist in a family for the family to be integrated and strong. From this togetherness, everything comes. Strength comes, money comes, and education comes, knowledge comes, everything comes. Staying together, because one supplements the other. So from this kind of relations, we have an integrated nation with the so-called variations of languages, etc., 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 and geographical variations. You see, I've seen many people in Pakistani YouTubers addressing Namaskar, Shashrikal, etc., because they treat Sikh Dharma as different from Hindu Dharma. We don't. We can't. Because we have the epistemology of coexistence, of the multiple and plural. Now, the relationship between Bharat and Russia is transparent and integrated. The historical background I just mentioned, though I did not really seriously know about it, it's something that I wrote somewhere. But transparency creates trustworthiness, and trustworthiness get tested through time. Bharat-Russia relations had undergone all these phenomenal, tests through time, and nothing really can shake it, except if at all there can be, as I said, there's no differences. If at all there can be disturbances in future, but that shall not go into the depth, it shall remain at periphery and gets exhausted automatically. This time with the President Trump coming, it gave an appearance that Bharat and US is getting closer, but that appearance is only an appearance, far from reality, because we knew through history that you can't trust the US. They are not transparent, but they're boisterous, they speak. They're very loud, They say so many things that will give impression to a novice that they mean it, but then they don't mean what they speak. That they say so many things for temporary appeasements or gains or benefits, whatever. But that's not the case with Russia. The people have time-tested trustworthiness of relations. Now, that the America don't want, the America don't like it. They like to disturb it, but we have trained in Tektena Bunchita kind of Upanishadic mantra. We are trained to sacrifice our benefits for the sake of something higher. We sacrifice. You see, the theories in the world, political science, especially Europeans, we don't have such theory in Bharat. John Locke and Rousseau, etc., gave a theory about how a society is formed. They gave the social contract theory. They say that individuals come into contact with one another to coexist, and they sacrifice many of their freedoms to coexist for mutual benefits, and the society is evolved. This is a normal gist of a normal theory of social contract, and none other than Pujana Vidji in the book, which of course he has not written, his discussions, his talks and speeches were put together as a bunch of thoughts. He says part of the society is not based on contract, and he rightly says, what an insight he had, Pujana Vidji. He rightly says that it's based on Tyaga, it's based on sacrifice. So that aspect is never understood to Europeans. The US do not want Bharat to buy oil from Russia. We are groomed in sacrifice. We are groomed in the mantra Tena Tektena Bhunjita, that Upanishad mantra, which is not intelligible to the Europeans. They don't know. They don't know. That's why they called America as India, Columbus. I don't know how you venture into the sea. You should have learned the navigation from the Cholas of Bharat, very ancient times. Cholas. Recently, my Prime Minister was in a function about the Cholas in Tamil Nadu. Should have learned that such knowledge of the Cholas of Bharat, Tamil Nadu to be specific. The great builders, they were ruling the entire area, Cambodia, Thailand, and all such places up to Singapore. The Cholas were ruling. That's why a lot of Tamil people living in these areas even today. So, coming back to the point, so this is not understood. So you don't think that we get tortured by sanctions. We know what sacrifice is, and we're willing to perform sacrifice. One kind of sacrifice which you may understand, Europeans, is simply this. Look at the mother, starving, but she doesn't eat her food. She gives to her son or child without eating herself and prefers to go starving. This is something which we must have seen throughout, not only in human world but also in animal world. That is one lesson which everyone should understand, which is one of sacrifice. And just imagine if this sacrifice is extended to the cosmos, how will the whole cosmos be? We have successfully extended this to our society. Our society exists on the principle of sacrifice. And such a people you can't torture by refusing something does we don't. We will prepare. We have already learned to say no. We are prepared for such things, no problem. So just because you threaten that you don't buy oil from Russia, otherwise we will, the threat is there, we will do this to you, etc. No problem, you do whatever you feel like. We understand sacrifice, we will sacrifice for friendship. That is in our culture, in our blood. We will sacrifice for friendship. Like a mother starving and feeding her child, an Indian would starve and feed his friend wholeheartedly, not hesitantly. This kind of sacrifice is built into our society. And do is just think that with all your kinds of fine rhetorics and rhetorics and threats, we would stop having a relations with the Soviets. I mean, Soviets, sorry, the Russians. Don't make us laugh. That's it. And then you impose sanctions, threat of imposing sanctions. Don't buy oil from Russia. Don't have trades with Russia. And then you make first NATO speak against it, then make the European Union put sanctions, try to put sanctions, and then they suffer without really thinking what will happen if I do this. That is that's without really realizing or at least speculating into the possible consequences of some kind of action. This is geopolitics. You do something and you will get it back. And we would call it as karma. Turkey, karma, not for us. I just mentioned by way of talking. Last time when Turkey had an earthquake, Bharat was first to rescue. Now they have a fire, wildfire, difficulties. I don't think Bharat would go. Our soldiers would themselves say, so don't send us to those ungrateful kind of lot who forgot the history and they forgot the yesterday and stood with our enemy to destroy us, supported them even physically through manpower. So these kind of things. So relations are relations, and we value friendship. We have great friendship stories in our itihasas, in our dharma, in our religion. How many such friendships are there in front of us? This is not just between individuals, there are great friendships between societies who are not within Bharatiya society. It is a coexistence, but societies outside Bharat. The story of Sudama and Bhagavan Shri Krishna, friendship, and Karna, Duryodhana. The list is unending, and you expect people of Bharat to disown friendship just because you don't like them or just because you had some problems with them. That's a great mistake. We are prepared to suffer, we are prepared to sacrifice, but we value our friendships much more than what you can imagine. So just forget all the talks. Please don't waste time, energy on creating differences between Bharat and Russia or Bharat and any of our friends. We already have a tantra in the Panchatantra, Kadas Mitra Bheda, which we shall not allow. And of all the things in the world, we don't speak, we do. We shall meet again with some other thoughts. Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.